Welcome back, everyone, to the And I Quote Self-Development Training Book Review with the Transformation Leader, Crystal Metellus. Do you all have any idea what week this is? OMG, guys, we are officially on week 16, Devotion Day 30 and 31. I decided that I'm going to do one last video for the bonus section of the book, so this won't be our last video. You guys can actually look forward to there being one more, but then we'll have to call it done. I can say that it was truly a pleasure to get through this devotion and just to have you all there to be a part of it with me. Last week, the message was titled Flirt with Your Future, and that was to prepare the way for this week, which is actually going to be titled Flirt with Your Future Part 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to elaborate a little more on what exactly that looks like. So get those good old devotions out, grab yourself a notepad and pen, and turn with me to Devotion Day 30. Devotion Day 30 quote reads, "Flirt with your future so that it knows that you want to date it." Flirt with your future so that it knows that you want to date it. I think that our current state of mind is something that we all need to consider when planning for our future. We are more likely to think ourselves out of winning than we are to losing after giving a task our all. Half of the battle in becoming who we need to become and conquering whatever it is that we want to accomplish is mental. We have to begin to shift our perspective. Instead of us coming up with a million excuses as to why not, we have to begin to replace it with a million reasons why we should. When it comes to our future self, we tend to think in terms of where we are right now and where it is that we want to go, which is fine. But the one problem I find in that equation is neglecting to formulate the process to get you from your now into your next. There is a transformational process that takes you from where you currently are into where it is that you want to be later. And many of you neglect or you forsake your development stage. This often happens because for some reason, when most people think in regards to future, it always appears to be in the far distance. But the truth of the matter is that our future is actually every single second outside of the present moment that we are in. So when you can begin to classify your future as a day from now, as opposed to it always having to be a year from now, then your decision making becomes more critical because the matter at hand is now more pressing. Remember, it's what you do today that paves the way for your tomorrow. So whatever it is that you see yourself doing down the line, or whatever it is that you are desiring to become, you should be currently setting your life up in such a way that your current lane begins to prepare itself to merge with your next. Your future self, that is the version of you that you are attracted to. And you should be actively pursuing to one day align and become one with it. So just like you will flirt with a person in order to get their attention and to make them aware of your attraction to them in an attempt to develop a relationship, that is the same energy that you need to be giving your future self. So what does that look like? Well, for starters, how about a connection? I know for me, if I was interested in someone, I would want to be wherever it is that they were at, because I would need them to become familiar with my presence. I would start hanging out with that person so that we can become better acquainted. I would begin to acquire more information about them just to see if we was even a good fit. In other words, you have to begin to entertain your future self. Hang out with the new and improved version of you. Start walking and talking more like what it is that you envision. There should be a gravitational pull that merges you with who it is that you want to become. You have to actively pursue and be willing to hunt. It's your willingness to go after it that determines your chances of ever being able to obtain it. Your desire for your future self, it needs to be so enticing that it lures you in. Remember, destiny calling means nothing until the present you decides to answer. Do something today to remind your future that y'all had planned a date and you refuse to be stood up. I don't know how well this kind of thing works for y'all, but looking at things this way, it makes things more practical for me because I think it simplifies it, right? And it makes it seem, even more possible. So now let's continue on and we're going to move forward with today's review and we're going to take a look at Devotion Day 31. So let's look. The Devotion Day 31 quote reads, "A clear line of sight readies the target, while a steady hand secures the shot." A clear line of sight readies the target, while a steady hand secures the shot. For this particular quote, it's going to involve a quick little exercise. I want you all to take that notepad, right, that you have in front of you, and I want you to write down a goal that you would like to accomplish. And then I want you to choose one that you can get done within a 2-year time span. Even if it's a goal that leads to a bigger goal later on down the line. For instance, your ultimate goal could be to open up your own beauty salon. But your 2-year goal right now, it could be to obtain your cosmetology license. Or your goal could be to one day buy your dream house. But your right now 2-year goal could be to work on your credit. So that's what I mean by your 2-year goal can be one that later leads to a bigger goal. So now with that one goal that you choose to focus on, that is going to be your target for the next 2 years. If you can get it done sooner, even better. But we are setting 2 years as the max for the goal that you choose. Now, you can choose not to participate and just listen. But remember, we want to flirt with our future so that it knows that we want to date it. So that means an active pursuit. That's what this looks like. So I want you to, number one, write out a list of how you plan to go about getting it done. What's your plan of action? I'm talking about schedule. I'm talking timing. What all do you need to do to make this thing happen? Number two, I want you to check your list again, everything that you just wrote down, and then I want you to cross off every single thing that makes it an impossible task. I want you to cut down those time frames that takes all of you and leaves you exhausted. I want you to cut that down. Make sure that you schedule or set a steady pace, right? And it's nothing that promotes stress in any way. Also, I want you to purposely pencil in some rejuvenation time. Pencil that into your schedule as well. That way it leaves no reason for you to burn yourself out. Number three, set a specific duration for your task. I know we said, 2 years, but that was for the broad spectrum. But because you know exactly what it is that you want to do, you have the specifics on your assignment. So I want you to narrow it down to an exact date. So within that 2-year time frame, even if it's up until the last day, I want you to pencil out that exact date. The purpose for this is to evoke a sense of urgency and to teach you to become more prompt. Number 4, break the task down into parts. For example, let's say that your goal was to write a book. I want you to schedule out the chapters using that same 5-step concept that we just did. And I want you to do something like dedicate 2 months to each individual chapter. And then number 5, make yourself accountable to others. Tell your mission or your vision or your goal. Tell it to your family and friends. If you are a social media person, make a post about it. The reason for this is because it is easy for you to give yourself a pass, but other people will hold you to the fire every single time. Accountability will keep you going, and it will also give you momentum, because you are more likely to secretly quit on yourself than you are to publicly subject yourself to scrutiny or humiliation. The reason for doing this exercise is to start to accurately hit your mark without a miss. The more precise you are, the better your chances are. Your goals, they are your targets. And your aim needs to be spot on in order to knock them off your list. Focus, guys, focus is essential. And because we have so many things that we want to do, we are aiming at everything and we are literally hitting nothing. I remember I read this quote once and I absolutely loved it. It said, if you chase 2 rabbits, both will escape. Now, why does it say that? It says that because neither has your focus. You cannot be divided. It's not that you can't have it all. You can. You just can't do it all at the same time because there's only one you. You are only one person. Take it step by step. When your line of sight isn't narrow, it's harder to be keen. A sharp shooter understands that accuracy is birthed through the elimination of distraction. You must have a clear line of sight. So I want you to look down at your paper and what exactly is it that you are aiming at? You need a steady hand. Your paper by now, it should have a clear and precise agenda that you plan to follow. And now there is nothing left than for you to secure the shot, to implement the plan, and to execute the job. Execute, execute, execute. All right, guys, so that's a wrap. I know this week actually left you all with a little homework, but it's all good. The objective was to leave this self-development training better than the way we came in, right? So guys, if you have any questions at all for me, don't hesitate to ask. As always, I invite you to give your feedback. I invite you to share revelation, drop some knowledge as it pertains to the subject. Just make sure to always keep it positive. I want you to share the message out and recommend the book to someone else. Allow it to be a help guide in your family's life. Allow it to be a help guide in your friend's life. This environment here that we have established is one for inspiration and motivation, and one to evoke transformation in the lives of others. If you are someone that is watching and you would like to further connect with me and just to be informed on anything that I may have coming up in the future, make sure to go over to my website and join the Boss Movement. You can do that by leaving your name and your email. That's it. The website is www.crystalmetellus.com. You can purchase your very own copy of the And I Quote devotional from that site as well. Until next time, guys, remember to always boss up, take charge, and put a demand on your day. Bye, guys. See you all next week.